In this series, we would like to discuss about Indian classical music, and that classical music is two types. One is Carnatic system, and the second one is Hindustani system. So, by the way, we will discuss the various parts and portions of both Hindustani and classical music of India. So, in that connection, we'll discuss about the talas, the technique, and ragas, raginis, the rhythmic structure, and such as the composition regarding both the classical music. So, would like to start about this. So, there are two systems of music in India, the Carnatic and the Hindustani, which are highly grammatized. These are supplemented by pop music, bhajanas, and kirtanas. So, raga, that we would like to define here. Raga is a melodic scheme covered with certain traditional rules, at the same time leaving enough freedom for improvisation. These rules determine and define the notes of a scale for each raga, their order and their essence, which give a particular color to the scheme. The Melakatra, embarrassing 72 ragas governs the Carnatic scheme. Based on this structure, innumerable ragas such as the Gyan ragas, derivative of ragas have blossomed. A raga should have a minimum of four notes to ensure a personality. In the earlier years of its evolution, Hindustani classical music did not have the Malkhatra system. Later on, due to the efforts of Shiv Bhaktudev, smearing has been done. The music researchers have concluded that raga as a concept and practice matured by 10th century AD. If one raga, the past, one would find that in the Shambheda, the second seeds of raga were down. A degree of difference exists in the approach to raga between in the Hindustan and Carnatic system. The Hindustani system has got a peculiar characteristic that it constantly emphasizes the body and somebody. So, It envisages systems towards the simple terms Vadi and Samadhi add two pivotal notes of a raga structure, like the reins of a horse. The result in is that a number of ragas can be created having the same notes and syntax by altering these centers of gravity. The Hindustani system has its broad sweeps and glides, and the Carnatic, it's almost coil technique. And finally, unlike the Carnatic system, Hindustani music is based on the time theory. The morning ragas, the midday ones, the dusk varieties, and of course the night and midnight, not to mention the dawn. In Karnataka music, though there are indications in this regard, in concerts, this regard is not strictly adhered to. Like derivative ragas in the south, there are the Fagunis in the Hindustani idioms. There is also an element of gender in Hindustani music. Raginis for the female gender and of course ragas the male. And now we would like to discuss about the talas, which are rhythmic cycles. They have a universal unity. 2 plus 2 cannot but be 4. Indian music have got the most complicated variety of tala structure in the world. And this is especially so in Carnatic music, where even fractions are said in world. Everything is rhythmic, even the rattle of a train. But that would be linear rhythm only when there is feeling of coming back to the origin. A form is ensured, though repetitive or cyclic, say like the days of the week, Monday to Sunday and Monday again. So also, as we would like to discuss, it was Purandar Das from Karnataka who not only gave shape and form to Carnatic music by perfecting the Kirti pattern but evolving a number of musical exercises in the form of Sanili, Jabdai, Dhatu, and Geetam. This gave structure to the idiom. It can Therefore, we said that it was Purandar Das who gave a launching pad to Tyagaraja, Shyam Shastri, and Muttuswami Dikshitkar to pour forth their devotion into music. The Trinity finally emerged as the greatest contributors to the enrichment of Carnatic music. Tyagaraja sang in simple Telugu in praise of Rama, who was his Ishta Devta, as he had a large number of disciples by his side. Always his compositions easily caught on and became popular. The unique nature and feature of his composition is that every song was the result of an inner inspirational urge having for its background a personal experience. Or he covered almost the entire range of ragas, and more than that, he covered a raga in his composition for various angles, leaving very little. So, from various angles, having very little room for further composers. So, now we would like to discuss about the compositions prior to Talpakam and Namacharya, who evolved the Gitti, Patan as in Bho today, Pallavi, Anupallavi, and Charanam. Carnatic music had its own system. In Tamil Nadu, chant composer like Muttu, Muthutandabam, and Mahabalacharya, etc., had composed devotional poems. And coming to Hindustani idiom the Drupad is the most ancient form of composition evolved by Swami Haridas and Tansen. The Swami lived sometime at the end of 15th century. He became a sannyasi belonging to the yogic lineage of Advaita philosopher Saint Nimbakar. Bhakti was the keynote of his composition. Tradition had it that Baju, Vavra, and Tansen were his disciples. Tansen was born in the earlier part of the 16th century. Legend has it that he was the son of one Markand Pandey and was named Ramtanu and was christened as Tan Mishra. He adorned the court of Mughal Emperor Akbar. He is credited with the creation of new ragas such as Mihanki Malhar, Darwari Kanwaktal, and Mihanki Thodi. This idiom had gone into oblivion for long but has now surfaced due to the efforts of the Daggar family. It has also caught on in West in view of the robustness of the compositions. The word khayal of Persian origin means imagination, though its origin attributed to Amir Khusro, to whom all untraceable things are traced. Consensus of opinion is that it came into prominence due to the efforts of Sultan Muhammad Saraki in the 15th century and became acceptable as a classical form from the time of Sadanand Nimet Khan. Unlike the Drupad, it is more delicate and romantic. A khayal need not start with an alap so necessary in Drupad. It depends on the genius of the singer to beautify it by giving each role its of the melodic portions. There has been great names in this regard, such as Balakrishna Bua, Gwalior Gharana, Ramat Khan, Gwalior Gharana, Nathan Khan, Agra Gharana, Faiz Khan, Agra Rangila Gharana, Aladia Khan, Jaipur Gharana, Bhaskar Bua, Agra Gwalior Jaipur Gharana, Abdul Karim Khan, Kirana Gharana, Abdul Walid Khan, Kiran Gharana. The Thumri is a very light form upon bordering on the vulgarly sensuous. It is quite possibly associated with the Radha Krishna Bhakti cult and harnessed by Kathak. It was very famous in the 19th century under the patronage of Wajat Ali Shah, who was inherited in Bahmani pleasures. He was a generous Spartan whose court was adorned with dancers and music luminaries. The Tarana is a composition which does not use meaningful words. Its libretto is made of syllables like nadir, tum, tarana, and alil, which are memories of tabla and sitar strokes. Its parallel can be found in Thilana of the Carnatic Classical idiom, while the ghazals are very popular, are more famous for their erotic content. Mirza Ghalib can be called the father of this style, and he did not mince words in describing its purpose. His philosophy was wine and women. And nowadays, Ghazal, a commercially viable venture, and draws far larger audiences than any other style of Hindustani music. So, in our next, we will discuss about some famous musical and instrumental players. And by the way, in connection to that, we will discuss about those instruments used in both Hindustani and classical Carnatic music.